Hey, welcome to Rock Paper Hand Grenades. I'm Representative Gary Hopper from the big city of Ware. And tonight, our guest is having medical trouble, so she's not going to show up. And we wish her the best, but so to stand in for her is the Honorable Eric Eastman.
Always good to be designated right out of the gate as a pinch hitter.
Pinch hitter.
Yeah.
We were basically at.
Good for
We
the
tried.
soul.
We tried to find just anybody else, but we couldn't.
Anybody get to settle
Not,
for some raggedy-looking hippie
right.
who looks like he dragged him
We were going to get a homeless guy, but
dragged him off the set of Lord of
We
the
ended up
Rings or
with Eric.
something. You know, he's too tall to be a hobbit, but he's
yeah,
trying.
you are too tall. Well, it
But he's
depends.
trying.
Wait. You could be a hobbit. Depends on how tall everybody else is.
I'll pull in
No,
the ears.
I mean,
We'll
no,
do the-
wait.
I'm going to do the elf thing.
Eric, think about it. Like if everybody was 12 feet tall.
Is this working?
Yeah, it's working.
It's working?
If
What?
everybody was 12 feet tall, you would be a hobbit.
That's true.
So it's
And I'd
all
be-
relative.
I'd be going on an adventure.
You could. So anyway, what do we?
So
got
welcome to the show. We're glad you're here.
yeah, that's right.
And unlike most days when you join us here in our cozy corner and safe space on Wednesday evenings here in Manchester, we have indeed moved. Usually I say, see, we didn't move. We're still here for you. We just ducked under the table to freshen up. But no, we moved because he threw me out of that chair.
I threw him out bodily.
Yeah, literally. And
Yeah,
somehow I landed like this
You did. That was a very good landing.
because I'm an elf.
It's like a ninja elf or ninja.
I'll go with
ninja
elf.
elf.
Ninja elf.
A ninja elf. Okay.
A little redundant. But that's
Okay. So today, Sir Eric of Eastman at the State House.
Yes, sir.
So for people who don't know, there was a United States Supreme Court Wayfarer decision that happened, I think, about a month or so ago.
Did it happen relative to a case out of a particular state?
Yes, it did.
Was that state Kansas
I don't thought
or
it was
Nebraska or something?
It was one
Midwest.
of them countries that other countries. So yeah, exactly.
One of them territories.
Yeah, that's out back west. And so the why doesn't everybody say back west? Why is it always back east? Nobody goes back west.
Because historically people left the east to go.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
go
You
west-
think we could
westward ho.
we've evolved to the point where we could go back west?
I used to
Let's
live in
just
the west.
See,
If I went there, I'd be returning.
you'd be back west. You'd be going back west,
I'd be going back to the future. I would.
right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
We digress. So
I think it was Ohio. So anyway, the Supreme Court, and I am remiss because I did not actually read the Supreme Court decision. Yes,
you're
I know.
usually very thorough. But this is
Yeah.
a big deal, folks.
It is
When
it
he
is a big
describes
deal.
it to you, it'll hopefully
Okay, so
perk up your ears.
so Wayfarer basically tried to say that they did not have to. I believe this is how it went.
Right.
I'm probably wicked screwing this up, but that they didn't have to pay the taxes to another state. Like if you have, okay, so let's say.
This revolves around, I'm just going to interject here. This decision revolves around internet commerce.
Internet
The
commerce
growth
and
of-
sales tax.
The growth of people buying stuff online.
Right.
And it's caused this new decision to be made at the Supreme Court level, which is the highest level you get in this country, compelling, this is my quick synopsis,
Good. We need a quick synopsis the way I was going.
compelling stay. I know, I cut right in there, didn't I? I pretended it was just a quick point.
Yeah,
I
good.
lied. It's compelling states to comply with the sales taxes in the state in which the buyer resides or in which the purchase is originating. Let's say somebody buys something online from a store in New Hampshire. Well, that buyer's in Massachusetts or any other state, you name it. Well, this new decision, Supreme Court decision, which a lot of people feel is constitutionally fishy, compels that vendor in New Hampshire to pay
Massachusetts.
sales taxes to the state where the sale originated, namely, in this case, Massachusetts. So this completely flies in the face of New Hampshire's longstanding 240-plus year tradition
No
and
new
history.
taxes, no new
as
taxes.
No sales taxes, excise taxes, income taxes, the whole thing. We're unique. So that's our identity, that's our fiscal setup, and now we're being compelled, supposedly by the Supreme Court, to abandon all of that based on all internet commerce that may occur dealing with vendors in the state of New Hampshire. So we cry foul, we say, and so does our governor. And the legislature just met to deal with it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I was just
Did
thinking.
I overdo it?
No, you didn't
Help me
overdo
out.
it. You just made me think of something else. Which
Oh, okay.
Doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't take a lot.
He's
So
in reverie.
yeah, no, I'm just in space.
He's in the sky with diamonds.
Yes.
Let's see if he comes back.
Yeah, I'm in the sky with diamonds.
He's always in the sky
With
diamonds.
Lucy.
Yeah.
I'm in the with Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
Oh, you're loose.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say something about prison, but I won't.
So what went down in the State House? I got kicked out because I tried to earn my seat back in 2016, and I got kicked out by,
Yeah, I know.
by like a handful of votes. So
Right.
by,
Anyways,
by a
so-
a very nice person who lives in my neighborhood, and a very nice person who self-identifies as completely socialist. and
Yes.
Who shall
We got to talk about that too,
at this point
socialism
remain
too.
nameless.
We're never gonna
but
get
it's
through this
fine.
one,
That's
though,
how the
but-
electoral system works. She got a
If
seat.
if we get through the discussion about what happened in Concord today, we got to talk
Yeah,
about
I
socialism.
do want to know. I wasn't there. You are. You got the job. So
Right,
What
yeah.
happened? What did our legislators do
Okay, so
with this?
yeah, like Sir Eric of Eastman said, basically it was going to compel retailers or sellers in New Hampshire to comply with the Massachusetts sales tax, but it's not called a sales tax.
Or any sales tax.
In this particular case, because it's called the user tax. So in other words, they didn't pay the sales tax because that would be in New Hampshire. They are paying. What are you doing?
What? I love the way they play with words. I just had to.
I know.
I had to
Yeah,
be
that's
sarcastic. The user tax.
the user tax. Okay, because like you mail order a refrigerator from Concord, and it goes to Massachusetts. The person in Massachusetts is obligated to pay a user tax for the privilege of using a piece of equipment that they paid with their own money that they were already taxed on because they pay an income tax too.
This is great, man. This is great
You gotta love it.
legalese, man. This is
Oh, it just-
gymnastics with semantics and
So whether
what
the whole,
heck?
So the whole thing is, can Massachusetts compel a place in Concord to follow their laws
Let's reiterate.
to make
that this,
their people pay something? Because that's part of the
We're
part of the
sticking
bill.
to the example of a purchase originating in Mass.
Yeah,
right?
this
When you
is
say
not
this.
necessarily
This
Massachusetts.
applies to any purchase originating anywhere in
Where
the
they have
continent,
a
in the
income- a
USA,
sales tax.
Where they have a sales tax.
Okay, yeah.
They could be in Washington State. Doesn't matter if they make a purchase and the vendor is based in New Hampshire. They have to send that sales tax money according
well,
to
it's
this
user
decision.
tax when it gets there.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty
To
stupid.
the state where the sale originated, namely where the purchaser was.
Yeah, where they're going to use the said object.
This is making me nutty. They're calling it a user. Okay, so does the Wayfair decision specify more clearly what user tax means?
Probably.
Oh.
Did I read it? No. But I did read the bill. It's one of those bills that was so long, you have to take a nap halfway through. Oh, okay, I do.
Or use the vomitorium.
Well, no. It's just, you just read, you're just reading and reading and reading.
Someone got paid to write this. Oh my God. I never want to
Uh-oh,
meet
we got to
them.
call in line one. Somebody's going to correct me on
Oh,
everything I
boy.
said that's wrong.
This is good.
Hey, welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. What's up?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Hey, thanks for joining us. Have we already stirred up the bee's nest?
Yeah.
Apparently.
What happens to people that come out of it, which I know some people who do, what happens when they come out of Massachusetts, come here to buy their cigarettes and buy booze, okay?
Sure.
Where does that tax, how do they know they come from Massachusetts?
That
They buy stuff like that.
who are we talking to?
Identify yourself, yeah. Mary?
Oh, Mary. Okay, yeah.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Yeah, who's doing married? Yeah.
Okay, so Mary, there's actually a pretty cool precedent for what you said was years ago, some jerks from Massachusetts were sending observers up to the New Hampshire liquor stores and taking down license plates of people that were purchasing alcohol at the state liquor store and then accosting them when they got back into Massachusetts. Okay.
That's a great role for government.
Isn't that
Yeah.
wonderful?
Yeah.
So what they ended up doing, I don't know who was responsible. It was pretty great though.
That's
I
real
think
desperate.
I think it was the governor of New Hampshire at the time. Basically, had those people arrested in the parking lot, and told me either you're gonna get the hell out of here or you're gonna get arrested.
Okay, that's a little heavy-handed. I don't even
That's
know if
awesome.
that's constitutional either, but
Well, no, they're telling the state police because they're harassing New Hampshire businesses.
oh,
so-
yeah, you're impeding commerce.
You know,
Yes.
like I said, I knew some people a few years back. Instead of going in with their car from Massachusetts, they take the people they would come up and see. They take their car and go down, but they had cash when they bought it. So you
Sure.
didn't even know they were from Massachusetts.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point, because the thing is this Wayfair decision opens up a huge can of worms, because what if somebody comes up and pays cash and they're from Massachusetts and buys the same refrigerator up in Concord
Or wherever
or wherever
in New Hampshire.
in New Hampshire, and they come to Ware and they buy a camper from the Cold Springs and Ware. If they pay cash, is Cold Springs obligated to find out where they live? I mean, what retailer says, "Hey, where do you live?" The only
Some retailers ask pretty invasive questions, but that's just because they're trying to build
They-
their marketing database.
yeah, they're doing marketing, but they
doing
don't. You don't have to
marketing
answer it.
research. No, exactly.
If you go buy a TV at Best Buy, you don't have to tell them what your name
What's
is
your
to
zip
get
code?
cash.
Why do you care?
Why do you care? It's none of your business.
They tell me to ask. Do they pay to do that? No. Okay.
Then shut up. Leave me
Conversation
alone.
over.
So yeah, you're the whole thing opens up a whole can of worms. Like, are the retailers responsible for finding out where everybody lives? Do they have to have a database of where everybody lives? Who's going to pay for the software for people who do business online to keep track of all these various taxes? And why don't somebody that comes to the Dunkin' Donuts and Ware from Massachusetts, if their meals tax is higher than New Hampshire, does New Hampshire have to pay the difference?
What are we going to start scanning plates at every place of business and doing retinal
Yeah,
scans, or
No,
you're going to start carding
maybe
people?
once a week I go to Dunkin' Donuts. I usually end up on Elm Street where my cousin works. And you wouldn't believe that the cars are pulling in, you know, from Massachusetts. I mean, they get 3 and 4 coffee. Sometimes they'll get 2 trays
Right.
of coffee, put them in the back of their car, and get 2 or 3 donuts. You know, those big boxes of donuts. And they're out of Massachusetts. You see it, and they'll say, "Gee, can we go with you?" You said, "Yeah, come on down to Massachusetts."
Yep. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of questions like that, Mary, that really are very problematic. I'm going to let you go. You have a good night, hon.
You too.
Thanks for calling in, Mary. Good
Thanks,
to hear
Mary.
from you. I mean, she raises a point, because by contrast, when people do business brick and mortar in real life in real time, how is that transaction in any way categorically different from an online transaction? And why are we making this distinction with this user tax?
And the other thing too is, and I think this is one of the reasons I went up there today, because part of the bill had protected the retailer's privacy.
Yeah.
And I think the people buying's privacy.
Right.
Which is kind of why I was on the fence.
Right.
Because when I went up to Concord, to be absolutely honest, I intended to vote for it,
Vote for,
for the bill.
and what did the bill essentially say?
Basically, essentially what the bill did was create a huge amount of hurdles for any state to go through just to start to try to collect taxes.
So, like administrative headaches.
Like administrative headaches. I think they had to prove that they had tried to collect the user fee from the person in Massachusetts already,
from the buyer,
from the purchaser,
purchaser, okay.
prior to trying to trying to attack our retailers. And then there was the whole privacy end of it. I thought it was kind of pretty cool. So, and that's after taking naps and reading it, and taking a nap and reading it.
Cool, meaning like the whole conversation itself is really stimulating.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Anyway, so
these
what,
are constitutional concerns, and it revolves around a lot of themes that come up between states. I
Yeah.
mean, it revolves around larger themes that occur in the Constitution, like the Commerce Clause, and
yeah,
other
well, that's
things like
what
that.
that's what we were talking about. What was the? See if I can find it quickly. Probably can't.
Anybody that hasn't read the Commerce Clause, it's an important part of the Constitution that's been the sort of the basis for a lot of big decisions that have been made at the Supreme Court level. And unfortunately, in some cases, there have been decisions that a lot of people dispute and find questionable based on the application or the interpretation of the Commerce Clause. So it's a reoccurring theme. Why? Because people do business across state lines all the time. So the breadth of
Okay, so what the clincher for me is
All right,
that
go
the
ahead.
Commerce Clause, Section 8, I think it's 14, Section 8. It says that the Congress has the authority and the obligation to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes. So Congress is the one that has the authority and the obligation to regulate these taxes
for those three groups.
for those three groups.
Got it?
And none of that is up to the United States Supreme Court.
That's not their jurisdiction.
That is not their jurisdiction.
Constitution says so.
Constitution says so. So, but
Okay.
earlier when we were talking, then I remembered the Dred Scott decision,
Oh, that.
where the United States Supreme Court said,
Remind our viewers, yes.
okay, Dred Scott was a gentleman went up to, I forget what state it was up north, and his slave, the person, he had a slave with him, and the slave basically said that I'm free. I want to be free.
Uh-huh.
And it went to court. And the United States Supreme Court said that it's his property because the state he's from designates that person as property, and therefore he stays property. Just because he's gone through a different state doesn't change the status of that property.
His original status from his original starting point
Yeah,
was reinforced, and it was
yeah.
re-upped.
But actually, the really interesting part, if you read the decision, you know, I think they were jumping through hoops to make this all work, because the real reason they didn't want to say that he was a human being and had absolute right not to be a slave.
It would cause the whole economy at that time
No,
to
no, no,
unravel.
no, no. They didn't care about the economy.
Okay.
It's if you say that he is fully human. They said in the decision. Read the decision. Sometimes it's
Then he gets to vote.
it's
He gets to-
comically tragic. It says if we make them fully human, they can roam around anywhere they want to go and carry guns.
So if we make them fully human, that means the natural right to self-defense,
They
the
have
natural
that.
right to travel,
Yes.
and the natural right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness
Correct.
becomes theirs.
Yes.
So they didn't want to.
That is the crux of the Dred Scott decision. That to me, that's when they showed their hand. What they really, and everything else was just a means by which to get there.
So it wasn't. It was about Declaration of Humanity, and they weren't ready to do it.
No. They might have guns.
They may fight back.
They might fight back.
And then there goes not just our economy, but our civil.
When their master takes their wife and takes them into his bed against their will, and he fights back.
Sure.
If he's not human, then it's okay. You can do whatever you want to him. But if he's actually a human being, he has every right to fight back.
That's really good insight on the Dred Scott decision. So,
Oh, it's
how does
amazing.
this square?
Well,
for,
the reason
for those that are new
the
to this
reason
theme,
it came
how
up
does it
inside
square with?
my scattered brain
Yeah.
is because that was a case where the Supreme Court dipped their hands into interstate commerce, so to speak,
Or
in that
what
in
at that time
context.
was interstate commerce, because these individuals were regarded as property.
So if we look at the Dred Scott decision and
Right.
see how honorable the United States Supreme Court is, maybe telling the U.S. Supreme Court to go pound sand isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Can we?
I don't
what
know.
prerogatives do we as states have to do that? I know that's
Well-
been the question on the table here in New Hampshire, dealing with the Wayfair decision.
That's kind of the Wayfarer decision. That's kind of what the legislation we voted against today basically would have put all kinds of hurdles in.
Just
would
made
have-
it harder for them to implement.
Hard for them to implement it, would have given some protection to the merchants, but basically we would still be capitulating.
Well, do we have a choice? It's the Supreme Court. That's federal precedent. They've just created federal precedent.
Yeah, they have.
So, do we have a recourse? Do you really get to stand up against that?
That's the big question. So what we did today,
I don't think you get to negate that. So,
I don't know. I don't know.
so far as legally, so far as I know.
I personally would like to have attorney generals that work for our state, that fight for our state, defend our state, and don't capitulate at every cotton picking whim.
listen, I was
We
at
have to have some people up there that have some.
cojones,
Yeah, I was trying to think of a better word than I was going to come up with.
some brass clacks.
Brass, yes.
Yeah. Listen, I was at the brass conference that the
brass conference?
the brass conference that the governor and his attorney
Wait.
general held
Yeah.
in governor's quarters when their strong objections to this Wayfarer decision and how it would affect New Hampshire commerce was spoken of. So that press conference took place maybe 2.5, possibly 3 weeks ago, and there was a lot of tough talk, and the Attorney General was no exception. The New Hampshire Attorney General was no exception when they were talking about exploring and pursuing every avenue and every mechanism to stand up against the imposition of this big money grab against our merchants.
Yeah, because I think, like Mary touched on it. Mary touched on it, and the fact is that this opens up such a huge can of worms. Like you say, what if somebody comes and pays cash, and they're
Yeah.
from Massachusetts?
But this is a brick and mortar transaction. It's off the
So,
record.
well, why?
So how you're saying what's
Why
the
is
difference?
that different? Why is that
Well, I asked the same question a
if
minute
it's
ago.
not-
What the heck is this user tax?
It's
How
not
is it changed?
substantively I can't say that word.
Substantively different.
Thank you. Different. Because they're still using the let's call
I'm
the,
actually his marionette, and he just like he pretends he can't talk, and then there's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
switch down here, and I.
he's got his
Say stuff.
the long arm of the law up my backside. So
I disavow. I cannot confirm nor deny the last statement made by Representative Hopper.
Yes.
On the air live.
right, exactly. So substantively, it's no different because they're still using the refrigerator that they bought in New Hampshire, in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and are still obligated to pay that user fee because they don't pay enough fees in Massachusetts.
Already, yeah,
the
they
people in
really don't pay
Massachusetts
enough.
really need to pay more fees.
Yeah, they just. I mean, really, the state leaves them alone, lets them
I
keep their
know.
wealth.
I know. It's about time
quite
they paid more
frequently.
fees. But whether or not the merchant in New Hampshire is obligated to make that happen.
Well,
is the
they
real
are,
question.
according to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Hey, look at our logo. I'm sorry,
at
I'm
what?
being all ADD here, but I just noticed our logo is like doesn't
It's
exist.
broken. It broke.
Yeah. Apparently.
Okay,
it
so
froze.
anyway, so with this,
Who are we? What's the name of the show?
Where am
Nobody
I?
can tell.
Where am I?
Oh, look,
Oh,
at that.
yeah,
Look
here
what
we
we
go.
just did. Look what we just did.
so anyway, shh.
The ghost in the machine was
We as
listening.
squirrels like settle down just a little bit. Anyway,
Oh. Captain Distraction calling the kettle black.
Mr. Captain Distraction to you.
Yeah.
So anyway, with the federal obligation or the congressional obligation to actually legislate and to discern what taxes get paid where
Yeah.
was the argument that carried the day, and with a vote of 258 to 57, the House voted to study the bill instead of actually passing anything substantive today. And then the Senate rejected that because they were really upset.
So the Senate was ready to convene immediately after the House
No,
made
the
its
Senate
decision.
had already passed it.
They'd already passed the bill.
Yeah.
the bill
They
proposed by
send it over to the
governor
House
and-
because it was Senate Bill 1. It's a Senate bill.
Uh-huh.
And they sent it over to us, and we said, not today.
So who led the fight to introduce the idea of sending it to, I don't want to call anybody out, not negatively, but I think it's, in
I'm not
retrospect, not a
positive.
bad idea.
I should be more aware, but I was paying attention to substance, not persons.
Yeah.
I know JR was in there, and my mentor Dan Itza was involved,
Okay.
and some other people. I didn't want to really say it because I know I'm leaving people out.
Representative from Sandown and a representative from Dunbarton.
Neither one of them are running again. Sir Dan Itza is moving, so he's not running again.
That's a great loss for our state
Yeah, he's pretty. He's a
legislature.
great guy. We started
One of the
together.
greatest
we
New
were
Hampshire constitutional scholars, really, that
The
that we've
Bible,
seen.
the Bible says, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife." It does not say.
We did just take a sharp left turn, just to
Oh,
keep you,
wait,
just to
no.
keep you in your seats
No,
here,
no,
folks.
no. There is a
We're
nexus.
going to see where this goes.
There is a nexus. Says thou
What's the next dyslexis?
next dyslexics. Dan Itza and I were freshmen together.
Okay,
right?
Representative Dan Itza
Dan,
from,
Representative Dan.
Sandown,
Sir,
and,
the constitutional Dan.
and Sir Hopper of Ware.
Yes. And I may not be able to covet his wife, but I did covet his license plate.
Okay, I knew that was going
His first-
somewhere.
somewhere.
I was scared to go,
he
but
sat,
we
he sat
made it.
in section 3,
Uh-huh.
seat number 57.
357.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I would. That's a covetable plate.
Yeah, it was.
Sure.
I was coveting.
Is there a 111? Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
Section 1, seat 1.
Yeah, the seat 11. Yeah. it'd
seat
have to
11,
be.
seat 11, yeah.
There's only 30 something seats in.
I like that.
In section 1 though.
That'd be good.
Why
be good.
111?
I don't know. It's just neat to have competitive numbers. I'd go for 777, but there's no
There is
section
no,
7.
No. There's no section 9 either.
Section 9.
Section
9. Section 9.
Anyway. Okay, so
All
anyway,
right,
that's
so this
what
is
we
what's
did.
going down.
That's
This,
what we did.
this is what happened at the House today. And so, where is this
The wheel-
proposed
the-
bill to push back against this SCOTUS decision now?
The fight against a man that goes.
Where are we?
We are putting it off to another day. Excuse me.
What the heck is that? Putting off to another day. When did the Supreme Court of the United States decide? Is it on paper that they decided when this new rule should be implemented nationwide?
Okay, so I should be more educated as far as this goes.
We'll get back to you.
We'll get back to you. I don't know.
Okay.
I believe they sent it back to the state, and the states, and so I don't think there's anything written in concrete or even
How can SCOTUS, which is
Say, hey,
a
figure
cutesy
this out.
pie
I think-
acronym for Supreme Court, kick their decision back to the states for
Well,
consideration?
I think the decision as to how to implement it and stuff like that.
So they're just saying, you guys work out your own
You say,
administrative headaches.
in other words, I think the decision is basically that yes, they can tax you, but figure it out.
But now you guys figure it out amongst
Figure it out.
yourselves.
Figure it out. We just
New household rule. You
Right.
kids just
you
work
guys,
it out.
You guys go try to play nice.
Whoever's sharing whoever's bedroom, and that's
Right,
I say
exactly.
That, I know the house is of limited size.
Yes.
But I don't want any fights.
No fights. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
what happened. So can we go talk
And
about something?
bedtime's at 8.
Can we talk about something I know less about? Okay, so
Well, yeah, like our viewers are all boned up on this subject. I mean, they come to us for.
okay,
They
wait,
come to us
okay,
for
wait,
information.
No, this is the coolest thing. Okay, you guys got to check
Of which
this out.
we have 0.01% more than they do.
Shh. Okay,
do you
so
got?
you got to go online. There's a guy named Austin Peterson.
Yeah, I know of him.
Okay,
He ran for president in 16 for the
did?
Libertarian Party.
he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's where his
He
name
was
is.
one of the last 3 in consideration.
He sounds like he'd be a lot better than what you guys chose. I'll tell you that.
Well, he
Hey,
kind of
wait,
would have been.
Wait, no, no, you got to.
He had to defend his age because people were picking on him because he was young. It was
Yeah, he's pretty
funny.
young.
Yeah.
But anyway, Austin Peterson's running for U.S. Senate.
Yep, I knew.
Okay,
I knew that.
and so to try to get people to his website, he's got a raffle. He's upsetting. I guess first he had a raffle for an AR-15, and he got booted off of Facebook. But now he's gone one better.
What's he doing?
I love this guy. So for people that
Rabid libertarian, but a smart guy.
he's
so.
a smart guy. But
Yeah.
for people that don't know, there is a Supreme Court decision a few weeks ago that was pretty awesome.
Right.
And that was a free speech decision
Uh-huh.
that the dissemination of information relative to 3D printing AR-15 receivers or guns and gun parts,
Gun parts, yeah.
was protected speech.
How is that, does that rationale work? On the face of it,
It's protected speech.
even a fellow rabid libertarian such as myself doesn't see how that squares.
If I sit here and describe to you how to build an AR-15 and what the dimensions are,
or anything, a drill press, anything. Any
no, if
tool.
I sit here and give you the dimensions that you have to start from absolute zero and go from here to here to here to here,
do this,
I
do
could
this, do this.
I could literally explain to you how to make an AR-15,
By law.
right?
On the air live?
On the air right now.
Okay.
Okay, well, not right now because I'd have to have the drawing in front of me.
Yeah, the show might take a little longer.
And the show would take a lot longer.
We might get a bit more
and
call-in
a lot
traffic.
of people would turn it off as compared to what they are probably already doing.
Or light it
Yeah,
up.
exactly. So anyway, that would be protected under free speech. So
Okay,
why
I get
is
that.
Okay, so why is it substantively different to disseminate a program that does the same thing?
Because the program is inanimate and isn't speaking based on its own
Program
personal volition.
is speech. Absolutely, a program is speech.
A program is a prefabbed group of information created by somebody that's basically like a pre-recording
Yeah.
of some sort.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a collection of data. You can listen to it, you can read it, whatever.
Yeah. I can read them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
therefore, it's speech. So
So
anyway,
constitutes speech. Okay, all right. I see the link up. I think
Okay.
it's thin, but fine.
it worked. So basically, the information for to give the information to a 3D printer to print an AR-15 receiver
Right.
is now freely disseminated, distributed on the internet.
It's protected speech.
Protected speech.
Got it.
So Austin Peterson is as a
Oh man.
they call this thing a 3D printer, but it really is technically not. What you
What thing?
can do right now,
Is this the raffle? He's raffling a thing?
he's raffling this thing off, right?
Okay.
It's not a 3D printer. I think he's calling it that, but that's not really what it is.
It's 3D printer light.
It's,
that
it's,
does
well,
one
no,
thing.
a 3D printer would be printing three-dimensional object like out of plastic or something that
Yeah,
they can actually
high density
print.
plastic. Yeah, sure.
Okay, this isn't that. This is a machine that completes an AR-15 receiver. Right now, you can buy a 80% complete AR-15 receiver.
Is the receiver a critical part of a
This is the
AR-15?
receiver is the critical part of the AR-15. The receiver is what has the serial number on it.
Uh-huh.
And that is what, when you go to buy a gun or sell a gun, that's the one the gun shop has to keep track of.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's the component of that gun that's vital to make it work.
Yeah, everything else you can buy online. You can buy the bolt, the front, the forearm, the barrel, everything else without any paperwork at all. You can pay cash, nothing.
No background checks,
Nothing.
no licenses,
There's no restrictions on all the different parts. The only part that there's a restriction on is the receiver.
Got it. And you can't buy a completed receiver by law without
Going
being
through
subject to your state
a
laws.
federal check.
Federal check.
Yes.
Goodness. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
If you go into a gun shop, you have to go through that background check to buy the receiver and or the entire gun. Either one, same thing.
Then they consult with a federal database in order
I
to
believe so.
complete that transaction.
I forget. I know pistols are one, and then long guns are another, and I don't
Sure.
recall which is which.
Well-
Basically amounts to the same thing, though.
We'll go with it. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, right now you can go online and buy an 80% complete receiver
Legally.
legally.
No
With
license.
No license.
No one's
No
permission.
paperwork. Nothing.
Got it.
It's aluminum. It's typically cast aluminum.
Sure.
And everything's done on it except the last 20%, which is drilling a few holes and milling something out.
It could be parts for a lawnmower. It happens to be a vital part that runs a gun.
It wouldn't work on a lawnmower. So anyway,
Okay, got it.
this 3D quote-unquote printer completes that last 20%.
Oh, he's raffling that off.
And he's rattling.
Oh man, I will make my engineer mad by stamping my feet.
Yes,
because that
it
is
will.
Very, very funny.
Is that super funny?
I mean, you
I
know,
was
but then
so
again,
excited.
there will be those viewers and listeners out there in La La Land that will hear us yucking it up on the air about the fact that, oh, he's made it possible for people to get guns real easy, and
Well, he
think
didn't-
that we're
he didn't-
lunatics for saying that that's
We are
good.
lunatics.
We are. Well, that's certifiable, but I mean, to this guy, and I know about this particular
I didn't know
Senate
anything about
candidate.
it until today, and I was just so excited.
Yeah, he ran for president 2 years ago, and,
Okay.
and it was down to 3 candidates, and they had their primary. The Libertarian Party did, and
Right.
they chose
Gosh,
Gary Johnson for the
he
second time in a row.
Stunk. Gosh, he's got to be the worst
Oh,
person.
he was a darn good governor, I will tell you.
Well, whatever.
He really helped to turn around the economy in New
from,
Mexico.
From Massachusetts, it was anti-gun for his vice presidential candidate,
Bill Weld.
Bill Weld.
Bill Weld's actually a fascinating guy to talk to.
He might be, but he's anti-Second Amendment.
He's also a globalist, but that's another matter
Yeah,
entirely.
a whole bunch of things that
yeah.
are not libertarian.
Yeah, the CFR and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It
so
ties to
anyway.
that. But we're not slamming on Mr. Weld or
I just
Mr.
did.
Johnson, but you did. But I'm going to defend
you
him. I
said
like him. They were
we.
friends of
You
mine. I
said
helped
we
them out a
aren't.
little bit. Yeah.
What you meant to say is you aren't going to.
That's because I'm being a motor mouth. I'm not choosing my pronouns carefully.
Okay, well,
I need you to
have
reel
to be
me
quite
in.
specific on this show. You can't.
Oh yeah, we're very specific. We never tangentialize about
No,
anything.
No, we do not. We do not.
So anyway, Peterson,
We always stay on topic.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
didn't quite work out getting the nod from his party to be their candidate for president. So now he's going for the Senate.
He's going for U.S. Senate.
And to help raise eyebrows, perk up ears, and make a bit
Yeah.
of cash, he's
No, he doesn't get
raffling
any
off.
cash off this.
Oh, okay.
The raffle's free.
So it's a stunt.
It's a stunt.
It's a liberty-oriented stunt.
Correct.
Based on the idea that free speech should be universal for everybody, whether it involves guns or not.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Which
that's
I
precious.
I thought that was just wonderful.
I can't not laugh, but I can see that it would alarm some folks. You know,
So you know what else is happening? That was just part of
my
it.
progressive leanings. I get a little concerned about. You know, there's a reason the phrase "take the gun away from the baby" was coined.
Who said that?
Oh, I'm going to say W.C. Fields for lack of any other name. I don't know.
W.C. Fields was my mentor.
I know. I know.
Anybody who hates kids and dogs can't be all bad.
That's-
Did you ever see him do his bit about why they call him Honest John?
no.
You gotta go look at this. At W.C. Fields, he's got this guy coming in and says, "Why do they call you Honest John?" And he's got this crooked pool cue, and he pops a hole through the top of the pool table, and he looks around, and he's covered it up, explaining why they call him Honest John at the same time. It's just delight. He's just so funny.
They were true artists.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Man, during that age, the talent. Whether-
Okay, so San Francisco, the
right.
ultra moronic left.
So what's going on
It
over
is-
there?
it is-
Why is the left automatically ultra moronic?
I'm just talking about the specific segment of the left that's
That
ultra
segment.
moronic.
That's ultra moronic. Okay,
All
that
the
part,
left
'cause
is
I've
not
seen,
moronic.
I've seen morons across the board in all parties.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, you have.
Yes, I mean, look at us.
No,
Anyway,
yes,
moving
we're-
on.
Present company excluded.
So what?
We're excluded. So anyway,
What are you talking about 3D printers? Present company extruded. Get it? See what I did
Extruded. Ah,
there?
yeah, yes,
Ooh,
so.
See, former machinist, he gets it.
anyway, San Francisco, if you don't know, is turning into a poop show.
Ah, really?
Oh, wicked
Define which
bad.
kind of poop and what's the show like? What's the show
A
about
lot of
right
a
now?
lot of the well-intentioned, let's call it, left
The no betters.
that care so much about everybody. I don't know what the mentality.
Occasionally, they give them rides in their limos.
I doubt that.
Uh huh. Okay.
But anyway, they care so much that they've basically through their policies have encouraged more and more and more homeless people to move to San Francisco.
Are they?
Yep. So the thing is if you have a program that encourages a behavior by supporting it or subsidizing it, you end up with more of it.
Okay.
Okay, that behavior
You
is
just
going
make-
to expand, not contract. If you
incentivize it,
if
there
you
will be more of
if you
it.
financially incentivize something, it will get worse.
Yeah, that math is not hard.
That's not hard. If you tell
Okay.
if you tell your 19-year-old son that it's okay to sit in the basement, smoke pot, and play video games, he's probably going to have friends in there smoking pot and
Yeah, but
playing
that-
video games.
But then it's not fun anymore because
Right.
they're not breaking any rules.
Right,
You
but
gotta set up some-
eventually it gets to the point where the son's 30 years old and he's still smoking pot and playing video games, and you're still supporting him, and you wonder what happened to this kid.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, hey, wait a second. So anyway,
Where did he go wrong?
yeah, where did he go wrong? Exactly.
Right.
So anyway, they've incentivized this the behavior, and now, for instance, one of the big drug company or drug distributing companies, whatever it is, it's a medical company that usually has their annual shindig in San Francisco. Said no,
Right.
it's too gross. So there's people actually defecating in the streets and everything else
So
out there.
sanitation issues.
There's huge sanitation issues.
Waste management issues.
It's just completely out of hand.
So
it's not
is-
safe.
Is the hate
The-
affectionately referred to as the Haight-Ashbury district at the epicenter of this? That
I
used to be
don't-
hippie central back in the 60s.
Probably,
so,
but I don't know for
I
sure.
mean, I'm just curious. You know?
Yeah, but it used to be San Francisco was the place to go to. It was just beautiful, and
Well, yeah, it's iconic city.
it was. It's no longer that.
Well-
It is getting to the point where it's not somebody. It's in other words, if you've got a wife and children, this is not some place you should necessarily go because it's not really that safe anymore.
Do they still have cool car chases though? Where, you know,
Yes, that's constant.
that never stops.
That never stops.
Thank
That's
God.
actually
Okay.
they're actually got them in a loop.
They got them
They
going.
Yeah, so they always somebody almost being killed on the streets.
So
So, but anyway,
Rice-A-Roni rides
with
and car
all
chases,
this
at least
stuff
they get
going
that.
on about the total lack of control of the streets anymore,
Yikes! Wow.
what they've decided to do is tackle another issue that's more pressing, and they're trying to outlaw plastic straws.
Well, there was this one turtle, you know, that got a little gagged up. You
They
know,
did?
I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. What about the?
Was
what
it
about,
endangered?
It happened to this one turtle once, and it's important that everyone's, you know, consumer habits change overnight because
Of this turtle.
there was this one turtle one time.
Maybe it was a really stupid turtle.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe that's part of the the whole survival of the fittest and stuff like that, and the turtle should die.
We are the turtles.
We are the turtles. Can I quote you?
We
on
are
that?
the Terrapins. Speaking of San Francisco, the Grateful Dead got it right.
Wait! I was going to show you the article. I'm
That
going
was
to
a
make.
really vague reference to Terrapin Station for those of you that are really
That
on
was
top
super
of things.
vague. I didn't have any idea what you're talking about.
That's-
See?
Come on, you're a classic rock fan. Sorry to call you classic Grateful Dead, but what can I do? You know?
I never liked the Dead.
I dug the Dead shows. I went to a few in college.
I was
We're
way.
talking
I,
1980 here, folks.
I was
so.
way more sophisticated than that.
What were you into?
Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Oh, oh, make me yawn. You were
What?
You were an ELP guy?
Yes.
Well, no, they were awesome. You
They
went to
were
Yes?
awesome.
Were you
Yes,
into Yes?
yes.
They were great.
Yes.
What about art rock and jazz rock, like
Well, like
Return
what?
to Forever and those guys?
Don't know.
Chick Corea, Stanley Clark,
I know the names, and I
Al
probably
Di Meola.
No,
Those guys. Those were pretty cool. Jaco Pastorius, great bass player.
no.
But they were like take rock and roll, that rock and roll that you're talking about, ELP and
Classic.
Yes,
It was
and
like-
take
it was-
it into the jazz realm, into art.
Yeah,
jazz.
no, I liked it. I liked it when it took rock and roll and moved it into the classic realm. I always thought that was cooler.
Okay, that's
Moody
cool.
Blues type stuff.
Yeah, that was good stuff. That was really good stuff. So San Francisco board passes plastic straw ban. The board.
The board.
The board. The almighty board.
We're
You
not
will
going to
be
do anything
assimilated.
about poop in the streets, but
Yeah.
damn it with the plastic straws. I was really pissed about that.
Yeah, and from what I understand, the replacement lids, and this is a statistic coming out of Starbucks, which is a Seattle-based company, just up the street a bit. From,
Yes.
From Frisco, is that they've come up with a new lid in order to be in morally in step with this new anti-straw sort of trend, this initiative on behalf of that, one turtle, that their new lid, to be manufactured per lid, involves more plastic and PFCs or whatever that toxic thing that
Right.
quality that goes into plastics, than previously the lids and the straws together would involve. So more plastic, more PFCs get used up per lid in order to enable you to have a lid that does straw-like things so that you don't have a separate straw that can go up a turtle's
Say
nose.
what?
And so from a earth-friendly standpoint, the new lids are less green to manufacture and discard than the lids and straws were together.
Well, if you look at a lid
previously.
as a mold maker, I'll tell you, the lid and the
This is
straw,
coming out of Starbucks, from what I understand. And
there is so little plastic in that lid and that straw. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing
It's
that they can.
amazing.
It's amazing that they can make a lid that is that rigid, that does that good a job, seals that well.
Are you sure you didn't win Austin Peterson's? I was going to
3D
say Austin
printing?
Powers. I swear
Austin
to God, I was going to say
Powers.
Austin Powers.
I did not win Austin Powers
Peterson's
3D printer.
3D
thing.
printer, so you could make rigid lids and stuff like that.
No, it's only. I think that thing's only designed
Just
to do that one thing. Is
Makes
to
a
make,
little hunk of a gun.
Well, just finishes off the last
okay.
machining of an AR-15 receiver.
What if people
Boys, you
want to
got
start?
Sandy on line 1 in 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
She's going to
Appreciate
be
it. Good to hear
online
from you.
in 5 minutes.
No, you have her on line 1 right now, and you have 5 minutes left of the show.
Thank you, Five. Thank you, Paul. It's good to hear your voice.
Hi, boys.
How meandering is this?
Hi,
show?
Sandy.
Answer that. Hi, Sandy. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Sandy, can you hear us?
Hi, Gary. Yeah, and oh gosh, I forget your name. It's
No,
such a
don't tell her.
handsome guy.
Don't tell her. Don't tell her. Let her marinate in her forgetfulness.
Yes.
It's all right, Sandy. Good to hear from you. What's up?
Yes,
Are
dear.
you old enough to? Are you old enough to remember paper straws?
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember paper straws, says the man who will remain nameless.
What was wrong with the paper straws?
Who? They're probably a
The
lot.
trees and the turtles.
Yeah, the turtles.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The poor
Well,
trees.
The other day I watched Channel 2, and I watched one of the plastic straws, and it was up the poor turtle's nose and up into his eye and everything. And, and I'm an environmentalist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
Kill anything
You know,
if you can.
I'm
No,
compassionate too, and I'm not making
Sandy.
fun of that one turtle that didn't look
But
comfortable.
I was thinking, why don't they go back to the paper straws?
See-
But that's true. You would have to have lumber. Well, that's probably better than a Starbucks thing for more plastic. We don't need any more plastic.
No, Sandy. I need
You know what I buy?
Sandy.
I have
Sandy.
one great grandson. I'm expecting another one.
Yeah.
I buy them wooden toys. Wooden toys like my children had. My children were all in their 50s.
And they liked them.
55, 57.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those last.
That's not that old, Sandy.
Well, I'm going to be 81 in
Says the-
November, Gary. I know, you're not that old. But instead of the plastics, when did we start with all this plastic stuff, which is most of it's garbage? I mean.
Yeah. Well, hey, Sandy, can I ask you something? Are you willing to invest in my new invention, which is
deer spinner.
No, not the deer spinner. The
No?
newest one is a dissolvable straws.
Dissolvable straws.
Yeah.
So-
They dissolve.
So do they suck?
Yeah.
Except
Well, why not? You mean after you use it? They don't dissolve before you use it, I hope.
during.
So slushy degradable?
Okay. You got patents on it?
No, it's still in my head.
Well,
It's still in your head.
we'll stay in touch.
Look on it, Gary. We'll get the people at church together and
Right.
think about it.
All right, young lady.
Something to become rich.
Yeah, that's not going to happen this week. Hey, we'll see you Sunday, hon.
Me either. I saw your grandson, Damon. He's such a sweetheart. He really is. Nice young man.
Yeah.
He helped me take down some cups at church last week, and gave him a big hug. And he's working at McDonald's now, huh? Good
Yeah,
for him.
he is. He's making more money than I do as a legislator.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Oh, yeah.
tell you, I tell all the kids, all my grandkids, they gotta work at McDonald's, Burger King, or Wendy's. For at least 3 or 4 months, you'll appreciate your next job.
So that's where I went wrong.
Yes.
Oh, that's where you went wrong?
Yeah, well,
not
that-
flipping burgers.
That and a lot of
I
other
never worked
things.
there. I never worked there either.
It wasn't exclusively that.
All
Hey,
right.
I got to let you go, hon.
Yeah, I'll let you go. Well, listen, the young man next to you is very, very intelligent young man, and I love him.
Oh,
All right.
Anyway.
Oh,
Thanks, Andy.
I love you too.
Gee, and I wasn't so old.
I love you, hon.
Probably see you at church. I haven't seen you at church lately. Have you been sick?
Yes, ma'am.
You have?
Yeah.
Well, I have today and yesterday. I got some crazy flu. I ache all over
This is
from head to
our
toe.
caller's
Boy.
version of letting us go.
But hopefully that'll go away.
It will.
Anyway, good luck, guys. I
Okay,
enjoy your
thanks.
program all the time.
Okay, thanks, hon.
Thanks
Bye.
for calling.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.
And this, folks, is how we do
Improv?
a political and current events talk show here in New Hampshire.
Right, New Hampshire. What else are we going to talk about?
Where the folks call in and get to be folks. And,
Yes.
and we
She's
love
a-
them.
she's
we
a
love them to
sweet
pieces.
lady.
She called me smart, not like dumb.
Yeah,
you
well,
know? I got him fooled. I got him fooled.
I'll talk about you behind your back in church Sunday.
Oh, yeah? Is that scriptural?
Yes.
I know it's not constitutional, but is
No,
it
it's-
scriptural?
well, it is constitutional.
I
Free
think
speech.
scripture refers to that as murmuring.
Murmuring.
Yeah,
yes,
gossip is known as
gossip, it's
murmuring
gossip, yeah.
in the King James version.
Right.
So,
If it's a gossip if it's true?
wow, good one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're going to have to check with King James on that one.
The King of James.
We got to
yes.
call in our previous show host so we can get in touch with King James and
King James.
see if Jimmy can help clear that up.
All right, so what's going on? What else is going on? We got 2 minutes.
Oh, there's
Jeez,
all
I don't
kinds
know
of
what
things going on. I think we
there's
got
nothing
about
else going on.
263 candidates for the same congressional seat here in New Hampshire's Congressional District 1, which is from Manchester all the way to the seacoast and
Well,
probably
wait,
out to
wait,
the
I
Atlantic
thought there
shelf
was
or
just
something.
in the Republicans, Sanborn and Eddie Edwards.
yeah.
Who else?
Have you taken a litmus test of the cast of thousands that are competing for that same seat on the Democrat side? There's a
No.
lot of people. Listen, I went to
It's Pappas, right?
Well, yeah. And a lot of
And
people. I went to
Didn't Bernie Sanders' kid or something trying to run for that same
Levy.
one?
Levy Sanders is running for that seat, and Levy lives.
Why is it Levy instead of Levi?
You know, I didn't ask him and wanted to, but
Isn't it spelled the same
but
way?
I chose to leave it alone.
Wait, it's L.
He was
L-
real friendly. He's a tall guy.
It's Levi, right?
Yeah, it is.
So why isn't it Levi?
It was awkward when I went up to say hi to him, and he
'Cause there
threw
was-
his arm over my shoulder in
Because
this
wasn't there
like
12
instant buddy fashion.
12 tribes or something? The
Yeah,
tribe
there
of
was.
Levi?
It just didn't seem like it was opportune for me to ask him about how you pronounce
I
his
would.
name.
That's to me.
It was the
is-
arm. There was this arm. So
It was. Oh.
It was a personal thing. So I don't know.
So do you think he's,
Hard to explain,
Do you
but-
think it is like he's got some?
He was in campaign mode.
Was he attracted to you?
You know what? I'm just going to leave that there. Leave that
Hey,
question
on
right
that
where
note,
it is.
we'll see you guys next
We got to
week.
take off. We're going to leave that question lingering in your brains. Bye. Thanks for joining.